It's been a while. Yes, it has been. There's a lot of changes that's happened, but basically all I wanted to talk about was one thing. Well, as you can see, I've got a haircut, but that's not what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about is Japan. As you can tell, Japan's struggling right now, and there's a lot of things going on. Like, there was the earthquakes, and now the tsunami has hit. I know this is late or whatever, but this, on DA, yes, I'm a deviant member. Not that it really matters, but, on DA, I was looking at pictures of new posted, and some of the people that were following, they had posted pictures of pictures called Prayers for Japan. And I didn't really understand what it meant or whatever. Like, when you look at the pictures, it was just like pray for Japan or whatever, but like they had like different pictures with it, and I was like, oh well, okay, I don't really understand what it means, but I mean, I really want to, do something to help Japan because I like the idea of the pictures. Like, I fell in love with the idea of like helping Japan. And so, I don't know if you know this, but I draw. So, I did one picture so far, and it's not even completed, of a parade for Japan. And while at my school, I'm a part of this club called, the Anime and Japanese Culture Club. And we had a meeting on Friday, which that was yesterday. And I was like, ooh, well, okay. The night before the meeting, I was texting my friend, Adam, because he told me that the club meeting was the next day. I was like, oh crap. So, I was like, okay, and then I brought up, ASDL, which is coming up in, like, I think it's April 14th, 15th, I think? I'm not really sure. I brought up the fact that he had to go because, Jacob, one of our mutual friends, was like, you need to tell him that he has to go. So I was like, oh, and by the way, you're going to ASDL. And he goes, oh my god, he told you whatever, and we talked about it. We talked about cosplaying, and then somehow cosplaying got into, like, something else. I don't know. At the end of the conversation, I kind of lost my train of thought of where I was wanting to go with this. But anywho, we talked about something, I don't really remember, but that's not the important part. The important part was, we'd gotten the subject of, I was like, well, I'm going to bring things, to draw with, and I told him to bring stuff. And the reason why, I was like, well, one of the people on DA who I creep on, was talking about how, like, she has, like, a sketchbook, and she draws in her sketchbook, and she's, like, draws and draws and draws. And all the sketches are when she's at school. And I was like, oh, that's a great idea, like, because there are some times where I have, like, free stuff, where I don't have anything to do, and I'm just like, oh, I'm so bored, but I don't have, like, paper to draw with or whatever. I just don't, like, consciously think about it. So I have, like, every year I used to ask for, for Christmas, I'd be like, or for my birthday, I'd be like, oh, can I have a sketch pad, a new sketch pad, a new sketch pad? So I have all these sketchbooks, like, laying around or whatever. And so I was like, I'm going to bring one for, the club meeting or whatever. And I was like, you should bring something too, so we could draw. And he was like, well, why are you going to do that? And I was like, oh, well, I want to do a picture of a Pray for Japan. And then I thought about, well, instead of just drawing the picture for Pray for Japan, I was like, well, maybe we can do a fundraiser somehow for the club, because our club doesn't do anything other than just, like, sit around and be lazy. So I figured, oh, well, what if we had, like a bake sale during lunch or whatever, and we could do a Pray for Japan kind of thing, and we could do it that way. So the next day at the meeting, I told our teacher, the one who, like, supports it or whatever, like, the anime club, I was like, oh, well, we should do a fundraiser for Japan because they're struggling right now. And she goes, oh, that's a great idea. What could we do? And I was like, oh, we could do a bake sale. And so she's like, okay, like, let's think about this. And so later on, I was just sitting down, and I was, for some odd reason, I had gotten in the head, well, actually, not for some odd reason, I remember, because I was thinking about what I had drawn over the years, and I was like, oh, well, I remember drawing this one picture of, paper cranes. And I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, we could do a Pray for Japan kind of, like, paper crane thing. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's such a great idea. And I was like, instead of doing, like, a bake sale or whatever, we could have people, donate, like, $1, and we could put their names on the wings of a paper crane. And maybe we could even put, like, one wish that they want to happen, or, like, one wish that could come true or something like that. That they could do, and it could be on the wings, and we can hang them all around the school or whatever. And if we get to 1,000, like, that would be our goal, to get to 1,000, because we have more than 1,000 kids in our school. It could be, like, our one main wish that we could put on every single, like, tail or whatever, or, like, some part of the paper crane, like, a wish towards Japan. And I was like, oh my goodness, that would be great. Like, what a great idea. and then all the proceeds can go to an organization helping Japan. And so I ran over, I was like, we could do paper cranes, and she's like, oh my gosh, that's even better than a bake sale, because basically it would be free for us, because we could get computer paper cheap. Maybe, I don't know if computer paper is cheap, but I was like, we could do it. And she goes, it's basically free for us, because we could just borrow paper from the library, because one of the ladies who helps us out is in the library, so she's a librarian, and so we was like, we could just steal the paper from the library, great idea. And so, I went to them and I was like, ooh, what can we, how can we make these paper aircranes? No one knows how to make a paper crane. And then she was like, we looked through books, and all I had is the flapping bird, and I don't want to do, we don't want to do flapping birds, we want to do the peace crane, or the prayer crane. Oh, I don't really remember what it was, but I'm pretty sure it's the peace crane. And I was like, great idea, we should do that. So my homework this weekend is to learn how to make a paper crane, because on Tuesday I have to go to her tap, and we have to start making paper cranes, or I have to teach her how to make a paper crane, and I don't really know how to make a paper crane. So that's my homework. But I want to know, what else could we do to help Japan, or what else should I do to help Japan? Because I really am in this craze of helping Japan, because that is the one thing that I want to do, pray for Japan. It's such a great idea right now, and I am fascinated with Japan. I want to move there, I want to speak the language. I don't know, I just want to, I want to help them, because I'm sick of just sitting around on my butt in club doing nothing. All it is a hangout. Legitly, all they did was sit around and they played musical chairs in the library, and I was like, ooh, this is bad. But, anyway, we were talking about what we could do, and, we were asking kids in club, we're like, well, would you be willing to help us make paper cranes? Would you be willing to sit down during lunch and, take orders and make paper cranes? Are you willing to do it? And, because originally I had told Adam, I was like, if no one's going to help, I would seriously sit there in my lunch periods with a box with the sign that says Pray for Japan fundraiser, and I will make paper cranes and write down your names and take your money and do all this stuff, because I'm willing to do it, because I want to do it. I think it's a great idea. And oddly enough, people were like, we'll help you, we'll do it, let's do it, why not, come on. And I was like, sweet. So I just, I'm kind of scared, because I feel like it's going to all fall on me. Rosenthal's going to be like, you have to do this, because it's your idea. And I'm like, whenever things like this happen, I'm always like, ooh, maybe that wasn't a good idea, maybe I should opt out of it. But I'm going to stick with it. We're going to find out how it goes.